Welcome to History Made Simple. Today we are going to talk about one of history's worst logistical failures, the Fourth Crusade. To understand this crusade, which was the fourth, we first need to understand what a crusade even is. Crusades, in the Catholic sense, are essentially Christian military campaigns to defend or capture holy areas, often in the Middle East, for example Jerusalem. The problem with this was, aside from the fact that to medieval standards Jerusalem was very, very far away, most of the times the areas which the Crusaders attempted to capture were ruled by the Muslim caliphates. So even if the Crusaders managed to take their objective, they would still be surrounded by hostile nations. Now on to the Fourth Crusade. In the year 1199, Pope Innocent III, who had a great name by the way, exclaimed Deus vult and declared a crusade to Jerusalem, traveling via Egypt up to the actual city itself. But as you might already have realized, to get to Egypt in the first place, you needed boats. And to transport an entire army to Egypt, you needed a lot of boats. And who has a lot of boats in medieval times? Good old Venice. So the Crusade leaders sent a few envoys to Venice to ask for transport. Venice, always eager to maximize their profits, accepted to transport 33,000 men. All said and done, the Crusaders started gathering their armies. And here our first major problem arises. You see, at that time Europe was divided. France was bickering with England and the Germans decided it was a good time to disagree with the Catholic Church. So the actual amount of soldiers willing to fight and die for the crusade turned out to be way lower than was previously thought. This meant that since the Crusaders all paid for their own transport, they could not afford the amount of ships that were chartered for them. The Venetians did not like this, but the Duke of Venice gave the Crusaders a way to pay off their debts. The Crusaders would have to conquer the Hungarian city of Zara. Zara, by the way, was a Christian town with an almost exclusively Christian population, so the burning of Zara did not go well with the Pope, who excommunicated the Crusaders. This did not bother them that much, because they thought that if they retook Jerusalem, they would be allowed back into the church. But now the Crusaders had another problem. They lacked money to actually support themselves, and they needed more troops, so they turned to Alexius Angelus, the son of a deposed Byzantine emperor. Alexius was willing to help the Crusaders, but only if they went to Constantinople and deposed the usurping emperor and put him on the throne. The Crusaders agreed, and after a siege, they deposed the current emperor and put Alexius and his father back on the throne. However, Alexius was not able to keep his throne and was killed by Alexius Ducas. I know, there are a lot of people named Alexius. Ducas had no intention of honoring the deal the previous Alexius had made with the Crusaders, and he kicked them out of the city. This did not go over well with the Crusaders, who promptly decided to besiege the city once again. After another siege, the Crusaders managed to breach the walls and they sacked the city. While they were at it, they decided to create a new nation for themselves, called the Latin Empire. This Latin Empire was as shaky and unorganized as this crusade, and it fell within the century. Some crusaders, who had left before the attack on Zara, did reach the Holy Land, but they were all unsuccessful and were quickly slaughtered. Well, that was the story of the Fourth Crusade. What do you think? What would you have done differently? Leave your answers in the comments below, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you next video.